Yeah, so let me do the the sort of the basic work here, and ask you to sort of give the Luminance mission statement, a little bit of the history, so people understand what the company's been doing.
Sure. Luminance is one of the oldest fully proprietary large language model AI companies anywhere in the world. Founded in 2015, which in the AI space is an eternity. Essentially by two Cambridge mathematicians. They were at University of Cambridge, were coming out, were playing around with computer vision and AI of various kinds before the sort of modern AI boom. But essentially, the idea was they realized that lots of their friends who weren't in maths, physics, and engineering were becoming lawyers and accountants. And one of the things they realized that algorithms are very good at is understanding language and predicting what the next sentence should be, what something should say. So essentially, they started in due diligence, helping lawyers analyze large volumes of data and make sense of it. But quite quickly, and this is what the current sort of raison d'etre of the company is automating live contract negotiation and review. So lots of that high volume, low value work that typically paralegals or junior lawyers or even senior lawyers had to do somewhat, but wanted to get off their desks as quickly as possible, all the way through the different stages of that contract life cycle, from first appearing in your inbox to getting it signed. How do you automate as much of that using AI and aligning to what your company's own risk appetites and preferences might be?
So it sounds like a blessing if you're a partner in a law firm. It sounds like a curse if you're a young lawyer who thought they would have employment for 7 years doing a lot of grunt work, because that's a lot of what young lawyers used to do. How does it change the trajectory of lawyers and the structure of law firms?
Yeah, I mean the difference between law firms and lawyers practicing within corporates will be slightly different, and it is important to remember that many lawyers are employed and do train within corporates rather than law firms. In fact, tens of thousands of them are our customers. The reality is that none of them really develop by doing that grunt work. It may provide employment, but does it actually? Maybe the first time you read an NDA, review it, and try and understand what's in it, does that make you a better lawyer? Maybe. Maybe even the 10th time, but probably not the 1,000th time. And our hope and aspiration, and I lecture at various law schools, and what I always try and drive forward is there is a real opportunity to access higher quality work earlier. Now, I'm all for transparency. There may well be fewer jobs at a junior level. That we have to be realistic, that the whole legal landscape and zeitgeist around what it means to be a junior lawyer will change and is changing already. But if I was a junior lawyer at a big M100 law firm, the reason I would be excited about this, or just coming into that firm, is I am more likely to have less crap work on my desk tomorrow than I probably would have done 2 years ago. And the opportunity for me to access and be in the room for more complex work, get a better work-life balance, and also essentially be trusted by clients to do more complicated things earlier in my career and therefore potentially advance my career faster, is only likely to improve as a result of good AI technology.
Yeah, less mind-numbing work, less trips to the pub to get over the fact that you're doing mind-numbing work. It's bad for your health. But I do think it suggests something interesting. And I don't want to put you in an awkward position here, but I'm sure you've thought about it, other people have thought about it. If it follows the pattern in certain other industries, it may make it much easier for the corporate lawyer with a smaller staff to do the work that they once hired a law firm to do. In other words, it may change the distribution of lawyers and the way the jobs get done, because a lot of what the law firm offered was kind of capacity to handle, heavy demand in difficult moments, whether it's a legal case or negotiation or whatever. And the law firm could say, "Oh yeah, we can put 50 people on that and then charge you for it." Whereas in this particular case, I don't know. I had a conversation which stuck with me with an Israeli AI investor, and I said, "What are you investing in?" And he said, well, what we're really looking for now is the 3-person unicorn. And I was like, well, what's a 3-person unicorn? And he's like, well, it's a company that would have required a lot of people to start up before, but now it's 3 people plus AI. And so it's really sort of harnessing this for real efficiencies. And I just wonder how that translates into the legal profession.
So it was interesting that you phrased it almost like a question, I will it. Whereas I think that's actually a certainty. So let's start
well, see,
with
that's
that.
because I'm the interviewer and you're the expert, so I have to ask you.
Well, you teed me up beautifully because there is, without a doubt, a fundamental reshaping of what it means to add value to a corporate, to a customer as a lawyer who's part of outside counsel, right? Now, the reason for that is typically outside counsel adds value in one of 3 ways. Volume, i.e., I'm a corporate, I've got too much work, I need someone to take something off my plate, and external counsel, outside counsel can serve that purpose. The other thing is expertise. This is a subject I know nothing about. I need an expert to provide me a piece of advice. It's not necessarily a high volume task, but maybe a high complexity task that leads into their narrow experience. And the third thing is I want to rely on their professional indemnity insurance because I don't want to take all the risk. And that normally leans into the expertise vertical rather than the volume vertical. Hey, there's a high risk question here. We need someone's advice, or maybe we even think we know the answer, but our board would definitely be more comfortable if someone who is regulated and insured is the one giving us the answer for us to rely on. Now, 2 of those bits, the latter 2, still exist irrespective of AI. The first one, high volume, inevitably gets significantly impacted. I would argue that the reason I go to a lawyer, or actually that most of the public goes to a lawyer, is not because they want someone to do what they probably think they could do themselves, but just need someone else to do it very expensively. They go to them for what actually I think the ego of lots of lawyers quite rightly says, which is training, intelligence, subject matter specialty and expertise, and then the ability to place reliance on that. And I think that is something that lawyers will continue to add value. Now, it may even be within that vertical that the total work goes down in a very particular way. So, for example, if I have greater access as a corporate to legal research tools that do a lot of the thinking for me, great. I might just use that and not go to an external lawyer. But if it is high value, if it is high complexity, if it's high risk, I'm still likely to go out to an outside counsel and get that reviewed, blessed, commented on, etc. Does that mean that the total amount of sort of junk research questions that come to outside counsel may reduce? Sure. Does that mean that outside counsel's value is actually even greater for those high complexity, high risk questions? Also sure, in my view, which actually, in my view, means they can charge even more for that. Great, you want to take away loads of our work? The bit that you objectively think you still need us for, we're going to focus on that and charge you more. And that'll be our business model. And I think there's a real justification for that.